announced that she beat you by 10 minutes?
I was announcing Mr. Ginelli arriving at the table. Okay, can you all stand, please? Full meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hi. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. Let's just pretend you're just here in the audience, okay? Not here for special things. All right. Everybody's Can we have the roll call?
Certainly. Alberts.
Here.
Cooper.
Here.
Ferguson.
Here.
Hawley.
Here.
Nelly.
Here.
Johnston.
Here.
Pratt. Here. I'm here. Molinaro.
Here.
Petrofessa.
Present.
Robinson.
Is that okay, we're moving into recognitions.
Yes. Good evening, everyone.
Sally, would you like to explain to us what our recognitions are about tonight?
The Connecticut Association of Boards of Education is probably the longest organization in Connecticut. They organize 169 towns. They've developed an award based on leadership. And they felt that it was very important for the students within each district that meet the criteria of leadership to be recognized. It is many times, it looks good on your vita as you go into as your college application, but it's truly an honor to be here this evening. We're very pleased to have you here. Many of you are in honor societies and a lot of the clubs. You just do some yeoman work for us, and this is a way for us to recognize you. The board is an exceptional night for them to do this, so thank you for being here. And the way we're going to have this work this evening, we're going to call the administrator up. They will read your name and talk a little bit about you. We will start with Mr. Robs.
Principal of Rockville Middle School, for those that might not know.
It's an honor for me to be here and to introduce these two fine young students. I had the pleasure of interviewing and talking to them, and you couldn't find two finer young people.
You could do it right there.
From here?
No.
Oh, okay.
And smile for the camera so
First, I'd like to introduce Caitlin Van Trump. Caitlin has excelled academically. She enjoys sports, playing softball with the Danbury Crest travel team and basketball with PAL. She received numerous awards at school, including the Principal's Award in 7th grade for assisting in the Veterans Day program that we put on annually. I was so impressed with her volunteerism, and that's seemingly something that's not in style these days. And so when kids are able to get out and do something in the community, it kind of brings back and restores my faith and my hope in the future. She participated in the Kindness Week at Rogers Park, helped pack rice and beans for art, packed food bags at Hillside Pantry, participated in Ben's Bells program, made cards for Veterans Day, and she did some work at her church, St. Gregory's Parish. Additionally, she participated in the theater program and the religious education program with the Girl Scouts. She took a trip, we take a trip annually to Global Endeavors, goes down to Florida. And it's really a growth experience for the kids. When they come back from there, they're truly different people. And she commented about the altruism that she learned, about giving back. And she said she learned that it's the journey, not the destination. And so I present to you Ms. Caitlin Bangford.
We'd like the parents to join us and Dr.
Well, I was
Leslie.
going to say, where are your parents?
Yes,
Are
parents.
you guys here?
Would her parents
Because we'd
please
like to
stand?
acknowledge you people also.
Let
Thank
me
you very much. You're welcome.
Next is Mr. Matthew Henry. Matthew, too, has excelled academically. He enjoys baseball, but even more so, he enjoys his clarinet. And he looks forward to getting to Danbury High School and furthering his ability playing his clarinet. Don't misunderstand me. He's got it here too. Just he can do it there too. So, he volunteers at the nursing home, assists with patients, helps set up and run carnivals twice annually. He is involved with the school's jazz band, CPEP, and he was involved in the production of a play in his religious education class. Matthew wants to be a doctor or a surgeon, and he wants to do something special, as I said, with his clarinet when he gets up to Danbury High School. I just want to mention that Caitlin wants to be a history teacher, and we need those very badly. So I'd like to introduce Mr. Matthew Henry.
One more? I know that's right.
Okay, next we're going to Rogers Park. Val Tracy's here. Val, come on up.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to be here to introduce you to two wonderful young people. They have participated in a lot of different things, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about them one at a time. Abigail Guthrie. Abby is a member of the National Junior Honor Society. She maintains excellent grades. She has participated in the musical theater productions at Rogers Park. If you were lucky enough to come and see Beauty and the Beast, she was Lumiere and did a great job. Outside of school, Abby's involved in Girl Scouts, tap dance, piano, basketball, and soccer, which is a nice wide range of activities for her to be involved with. Her ambition is to be a social worker, and she enjoys working with and helping people. So I'd like to introduce Abigail Guthrie. This is Jose Mendez. Jose is Vice President of the Student Council. He has helped organize various school events such as dances. We recently had a dodgeball tournament and he helped us organize that. Jose has earned the privilege of being an office worker and he happens to be in my office. And he's truly one of the most polite, helpful young people I've ever met. It's a joy to have him in the office. Jose works hard to maintain good grades in all of his classes. He is a member of the Police Explorers, which entails many community service activities. Jose looks forward to a service career such as police officer or doctor, which is a wide range. I'd like to introduce Jose Mendez.
Do you have the
Val,
parents here?
the parents here.
Yes.
Could they come on up and take the pictures? Come on, you get applause too, guys. They didn't get the...
we have Westside Middle School. Representing the school is Ms. Singh, Tanner, and Ms. Augustine, thank you.
Augustine.
Augustine.
And Mr. Darren also.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, they left your name off. There you go.
So why don't you do me a favor, would everybody just give us your name in there?
Okay.
So we hear?
I'm Hillary Singer. I'm the 8-STEM math teacher.
Thank you.
I'm Melissa Augustina. I am the 8-STEM social studies teacher.
Good evening, I'm Curtis Dara. I am the school counselor for 8STEM.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we're all millennials. We're all going to use our phones. So I'm going to be introducing Rashmi today. So Rashmi is currently in the National Junior Honor Society. They do many community service projects. One in particular was they did a book drive at Mill Ridge. They introduced and brought Ben's Bells to our school this year at Westside. She's also in the yearbook committee, and she's a very avid piano player outside of school. She's very talented in many fields and not just academics. In her grades this year, she's reached high honors in both of the trimesters, and I'd say is going to get it in this third trimester as well. Let's see. She was one of the members of our robotics team that we started this year at Westside. We had two options, science fair or robotics, and she was one who dove right in and was eager to join in that. They competed, when was that? Was a competition, you remember, February, March? Sometime when it was colder out. And we actually did really well. We got, what, 14th out of 9th out of, I don't know, 20? Excellent for the first effort though. She's a straight A student. She's extremely hardworking. She's a pleasure to have in the classroom, and we look forward to having her every single day. And she really just is there for everyone and not just there for herself. So I'd like to congratulate Rashmi.
Hello. So, Rashmi, I just want to say she's a phenomenal student. So I enjoyed having her as well. We just divided up to her. I brought along Mr. Derek to divide up Brady's speech because so it's Brady. So Brady is one of the kindest, hardworking students I've ever had. He is the first person to help a student out as well as the first person to hand in his assignment while still doing gymnastics Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays for 2.5 hours. So I think that's pretty impressive. He is a multitasker. He gets things done. He has always a positive energy. You can say hello to him in the hallway and he will say hello back every single time. His character is amazing. His grades are amazing. And his after-school commitments to church, jazz band, everything that he does is phenomenal. And I think he knows that he's awesome, and if he doesn't, I think you're awesome. So, and then Mr. Darrell.
So I'm going to also add to Brady. When I first came to Westside, because I'm new to the district this year, I saw Brady in the hallway, and I was like, who are you, and what is your name? Because that is a smile that can change the world. And I've always told all my kids, like at the end of every leadership class that I teach, 1, 2, 3, you can change the world. And I really see that in Brady, and I can't wait to see how far he goes in life, and especially sent in Danbury High School when he was high school. And I always tell him, you better come visit me and tell me all the exciting things you're doing. Brady also plays tuba in the school jazz band. He's auditioned and earned a seat in Western Connecticut Youth Orchestra. He successfully auditioned and got into the middle school Western Regional Band. Besides being skilled in a musical instrument, he can really sing really well. He's an active member in the Peer Mediation Club that I started this year at Westside, which was a curriculum given to me by Dr. Paula Grayson that she started at Broadview when she was there. It was like a 4-month training, basically learning how to learn more about yourself and learn how to excel with your peers and taking care of those situations. when in need before they go to discipline to administration. He's an active member of church and sings in the church's choir. He sang in the role of Amal in West Khan's Amal and the Night Visitors Opera, and in his spare time, Brady likes to perform for people who can't make it to his concerts. And for the past 4 years, Brady has sung and played in the tuba for various concerts at Riverwoods Continuing Care Residential Community in Exeter, New Hampshire. I am beyond proud to announce Brady Callahan for this award.
Smile like that. Let me see that smile like for that.
I can't change the world.
Okay, next is the Alternative Center. Who's here from the second? I have Laura Blake. If I take my glasses off, I won't be able to see it. Yes.
Sending us the pictures, otherwise I'm giving my phone. So you sending us the pictures, otherwise I'm giving you my phone, so I can make sure we don't get it. Because I don't trust. No. So I promised that. Oh, you got it. Hi, so I'm Laura Blake, I'm one of the staff members at the Alternative Center for Excellence. And I promised that I would talk fast, and they know I do talk fast, so I'll get it all out. But I would like to take tonight a little bit of time to recognize each of these young people that are before us. Anyone who knows anything about our program, our school, knows that students who come to ACE have tried out at the high school usually and have had some issues or some things that have gotten in their way. Different reasons, everybody comes there for different reasons, but students who participate with us, we're a very small program, we get to know each other very well, and we become like a family, and that's what you hear a lot about ACE, we're a family. And so I'm very proud to honor a son and a daughter of ACE tonight. The first person I'd like to talk about is Jonathan McKenzie, who is right behind me. Jonathan has done an excellent job of creating an academic career for himself through some pretty big hardships, things that he's had to deal with. But he has maintained an excellent grade point average. He has, I believe, your acceptance to Naugatuck right now, right? Yeah. Yes, he has an acceptance to Naugatuck for the fall. He's maintained a great grade point average. He's been able to keep his grades up, on top of which he and another student helped start an organization after school to make sure that all seniors stay up, which meant that they were helping to tutor other seniors to make sure that their averages stayed up so that they would all graduate as one group together. On top of which, if you ever recognize Jonathan, it might be because he also works full-time while taking care of himself and living independently. So he works a full-time job, maintains excellent grades, and is graduating with an acceptance letter to college. So I'd like to take a moment to recognize that. Nancy, who is standing behind me, and somebody I'm pretty proud of. She's been a part of my group at ACE since she started. Another recognition for somebody who went through regular high school and didn't exactly fit, who came to our school not quite sure what she was going to do, but always sure that she wanted to try things and change. And in the environment of ACE, she's been able to do that. Not only can I recognize her for constantly upping her average every semester she's been at ACE, and striving to make sure that that average stays high. Actually, we were getting into arguments about trying to get an A average in environmental, in green chemistry this semester. She's been arguing with the professor about who's going to get the higher A. On top of which, both Jonathan and Shanisha have been involved in community service projects. Today after school, we were actually baking Part of what ACE has done this year is become involved with Henry Abbott Tech, and we have an after-school program in culinary and CNA. Shanisha has become part of that CNA program. She has been there since it started. She will be finishing with experience in the CNA program, and hopefully will get involved in taking the CNA exam this summer. She also has her acceptance letter to Naugatuck Valley. She also has been involved in volunteer programs. I started to say that today they started a program with Henry Abbott Tech, and after school, as I left today, they were wrapping cookies that were going to be brought to the shelter later on today. This weekend, both of these young people in the rain with all of us did the Clean Up Danbury project around the school and WestCon, and also beautified our campus so that when I left, it was raining and they were still planting flowers. So because we're a small school, our seniors participate in a lot of things, and it would be hard for me to recognize all the things they've participated in, but just about every project we've done, these two people have been involved in. Shanisha is a person that people go to when they need somebody to head up a project, because she's somebody that so many students respect and admire, that when we actually get together for a group gathering, they tend to chant her name and try to get her in front of the group to get them to calm down. She's actually that kind of a leader. So I'd like to take a moment to recognize her, how far she's come, and also tell her how crazy I'm gonna miss you. But you're gonna come back and you're gonna tell me everything you do, right?
If we could get
Parents?
Can we get parents up? Come on.
I need parents.
Come on. It's gotta be in.
Look at me. Grade 9 or grade 10?
Smile, everybody. There you go. Back to lessons when you're... Okay, here we are. We went from our small school to the largest high school in the state of Connecticut, Danbury High. And it's our premier school. And we have Mr. Donovan here who's going to talk about his students.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you're ever wondering what these youngsters look like when they're seniors?
Please use the mic, sir. Do you think you're strong enough to hold it up?
A little bit. If you never wondered what the middle school people look like when they're seniors, this is it. Here they are, two of our best seniors getting ready to go. I have with me Sophia Pompilio and Raul Malaya. Say it with me. Malaya, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, this way. Sophia worked in my office for the past 2 years, so I got to know her very well. Most of the time she was there 1 period when she had lab. Sometimes she was there 2 periods when she got the car taken away and had to take the bus to school. Well, Mom, I'm going to tell that story. Okay. Involved in DHS, Sophia was involved in athletics in the beginning, starting with field hockey, where she was named captain of the field hockey team. Also involved as a BOG Executive Council member her junior year, and actually BOG president her senior year. So this is our Board of Governors president standing right here. In the community, she was involved in our DECO program that played an instrumental role in influencing 376,000 people with regards to distracted driving, also called our Celebrate My Drive contest. In DECA, she placed 3rd this year in the state of Connecticut with her project and in the top 20% nationally. First. In Connecticut, top 20 nationally. Also spending time raising money and awareness for Ann's Place. In college, she'll be attending Arizona State University in the fall, doubling major in business communication and business management. Sophia. You want to hold it? Make it easy. Raul. Raul's graduating with a 4.67 GPA. Here's a list of a few of the accomplishments because we can take a while. First off, President of the National Honor Society, President of the National Math Honor Society, President of the Math Team, a Captain of the Chess Team, Class Valedictorian, and also received a perfect score on the SAT. Amazingly, doing all that, while heavily involved in our robotics team, you mentioned before, where he was the lead programmer and placed 16 in the World Championships in Kentucky. Outside the school, he's an all-state orchestra for the violin, associate director of the Danbury Community Orchestra, and plays first violin in the Danbury Symphony Orchestra. Good so far? Very good. Associate concert master. I don't know. Okay, sorry. Along with that, something interesting that just came up. You'll be traveling to Washington, D.C. coming up in 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks, end of May? Saturday. The Atlantic magazine puts out a contest for an essay worldwide. And out of all of the entries worldwide, he is one of the top 3 finalists. He will be traveling down to Washington, D.C. along with his parents, and I believe Mr. Porcelli's going with you to find out if he is the actual finalist for that. So that's an accomplishment. Last year there were, what was the number Mr. Boccaccio said? Something like 8,000 entries worldwide. Last year's winner came from a private school in Australia. So that tells you the caliber of the student going on. Next year in the fall, Raul will be attending UC Berkeley all the way out in California, and he's going to do a great job out there. Raul, ladies and gentlemen.
Everybody, one more big hand for everybody. It's going to be his next job, guys. Well, thank you, and I'm not easily impressed, but I am impressed by the young people. Thank you very much.
If you'd like to stay, you're welcome. If you'd like to leave, be my guest.
Yes, you don't have to stay. It's okay. Public participation, if you have nobody for public participation. Nobody signed up, so I'm going to run by just anyone in any of the rows that wants to speak. Now's your opportunity. Okay, going once, going twice. Now she cannot leave. Get back here.
She's going up to clear the rabble around here.
All right, consent calendar.
That the Board of Education approve the items on the consent calendar exhibits 16-70 through 16-75 as recommended.
Do I hear a second? Second. Ralph? Any questions? Any comment is I would like to thank the following people. Thomas Agnes, Rosalia Dennis, or not for 43 years of service. Probably about 30 years. Mary Marston, 27 years. Anita McAtee here for 28 years, and Patricia Seeley for 17 years. Thank you very much. I also would like to thank UTC Aerospace Systems, Community and Charitable Funds Committee, for the $2,500 donation to the Dearborn High School Robotics team. Thank you. That's how we're getting things done, guys. All right, all in favor of accepting the consent calendar, please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? passes. Okay, on the agenda, we have information, Rogers Park Middle School trip to Puerto Rico, January 12th through the 17th. Does anyone have any questions about that? It's pretty well delineated, defined. Okay, seeing none, okay, and then revisions to the policy on medications. So I hope that everybody read all of those. If anybody has any questions, Ms. Dowd is here.
Kathy, would you just, everyone just come on in for a second?
Thank you, Mr. Donovan.
Maybe you can brief us with the changes.
Yes, there's some minor changes to the policy in defining school personnel who will now be able, unlicensed personnel who will now be delegated to administer glucagon by injection, which is a medication that reverses a severe low blood sugar for people with diabetes. The staff will be able to delegate the administration of Diastat, which is for students who have seizure disorders. And there will be delegation for unlicensed personnel to administer epinephrine by auto-injector to any student who has their first time allergic reaction in school. All of this only in the absence of school nurse. We will be able to delegate for field trips, Diastat and glucagon. The epinephrine will only be applied during school hours, not over the weekends.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
This will be out for 2 weeks, and I'll come back at the next meeting for to be included in information next year. Thank you.
Thanks, Don. Okay. Our employee representative is Rogers Park Middle School. Let's come here what they'd have to tell us. Here they come. You'll introduce yourselves and then launch into your presentation.
Hi, good evening. I'm Pat Stevens. I'm a world language teacher at Rogers Park. Myself, my colleagues, Adrian Solis, and Charlie Duff are here to just kind of give you a few highlights for Rogers Park. It's really kind of difficult when you sit back and think, gosh, what do we do all year? And then you start thinking about it, and there's lots of things that we did this year. And I think when Adrian and Charlie and I were putting our thoughts together, some of the key words that kept coming up to us were cooperating and team, and I think overall we'll see a lot of that when we talk about. Charlie's going to end up with a quick little video for you, but just to touch on a few things. I hope that some of you were able to come back and see our production of Beauty and the Beast this year. It was spectacular. And it was, again, a wonderful collaborative effort on the part of the cast, the crew, the staff, the parents, and the students. And it was just a whole lot of fun and just a great production. Along with that, our special ed department is currently working on their annual Unified Theater production. This year's theme is Be the Change, and that production is going to take place on the 24th of May. We've had the opportunity to see that before. You know, it's just an amazing performance by a very broad spectrum of students. And they've been working on building their social skills, their communicative skills, and it's really been an exciting year for them. I know that many of you are familiar with our garden project that we have out in the property. And this year we're also taking that step further. We're going to be piloting a cooperative program between the science department, the health department, and also our language, where we're going to be, the students are going to be learning everything organic from seeds. They're going to be doing the Three Sisters plants. They work together. They're going to learn about healthy eating habits, and we're also going to be incorporating culturally based recipes to go into the cooking that they're going to be doing from the crops that we pull out of the garden at the end of the year. The food festival that will come out of this is going to be part of next year's cultural celebration, which Charlie's going to show us later on in the video. We're starting this year with 6th graders, getting 6th graders involved, and hopefully bringing that all the way up through their 8th grade experience. Also, we're going to try opening a section of the garden to the community and having it be Danbury Community Garden, focusing on organic gardening as we've been doing all through. Also, another piece that we have in the garden is a sun wheel that is now visible via satellite on Google Maps. Which is- that's my point.
Good evening, I'm Adrian Solis. I teach social studies in 8th grade at Rogers Park. I'm going to add on to the wonderful things we've been doing at Rogers Park. The first being, we are hosting a Rogers Park Social Studies Department is putting together a museum night on May 19th, Thursday from 5 to 7, to showcase 6th, 7th, and 8th grade projects that we've been working under project-based learning, which is basically putting together where the kids are really putting together the project on their own. It's a form of inquiry-based. And the 6th graders are doing civilizations, 7th graders are doing the Civil War, and the 8th graders are doing World War II. So that's May 19th, that's a Thursday, 5 to 7, if anyone's interested, at Rogers Park. Our math department also hosted 2 successful family nights. One was Pie Night and another was Family Math Night. Pie Night was March 14th with hundreds of students from all 3 middle schools that went to Rogers Park to participate in games, contests, and activities dealing with pie. And the Family Math Night involved over 100 students and families getting together to discuss a little about math. Our guidance department put together an amazing career fair. We had over 42 presenters from all types of careers, including Mayor Mountain. 7th and 8th graders enjoyed the experience of learning about any type of potential career options that they have. Our National Junior Honor Society raised close to $1,000 for various causes, DAWs, Make-A-Wish Foundation, and students combined for several hundred hours of community service in Danbury. And the physical ed department, along with volunteer teachers, have organized a variety of sports tournaments for our students. We have done a volleyball tournament, basketball tournament, dodgeball tournament, and we've actually today and tomorrow is our soccer tournament. That's why pardon my appearance, but I just came from that. And our soccer tournament, actually, our winners of our little tournament go against the winners of Broadview's tournament, and we have a Broadview versus Rogers Park game on May 24th at Broadview. If anyone's interested to attend that is at 3 o'clock. Finally, our governance council at Rogers Park is holding a beautification day for our school. That is June 4th, a Saturday at 9 a.m. We will have teachers, students, parents, and community members all volunteering their time to try to make our school a little more beautiful than it is. And Charlie is now going to discuss a little bit of the media center.
Good evening, my name is Charles Duff. I'm one of the 2 media specialists at Rogers Park Middle School. I was at the board meeting last year when Dr. Glass did a wonderful presentation about our Learning Commons vision for the future. And I'm just here to report back to you that we've gotten off to a pretty good start thanks to your support. And I hope that with the years to come that you can continue to provide us support in this wonderful vision into changing what we know as the media center into a learning commons, much more collaborative, attractive, and fun for the kids. Just a few little brief points here. The Mediascapes, which you can see in the top left corner, are screens, monitors that can connect the students' devices wirelessly and be projected to the screen there. It's been a wonderful collaborative tool. Been catching on really well. You can see that the kids working on a project. We're getting a lot of wonderful work being done there by students and staff. I have a film background. I pushed to paint a wall in our media center on the top floor green to do green screen, chroma key, and that has been wonderful. We've had kids come in and do some projects, wonderful projects, film, and then put that into the iMovie program. And we've gotten some great results with that. We've also adjusted the layout of the media center a little bit. We've introduced writable surfaces, so we have walls that are actual chalkboards now where the kids can write stuff on. It's just an attractive piece to get kids in, get kids excited about learning, reading, working on the computer. And a little other minor thing that we've done and we just completed, we've labeled all of our shelves in the media center in English, Spanish, and Portuguese, the nonfiction shelves, so that kids can get right to finding what they need right away without having to look at that old Dewey Decimal number and go into the chart and trying to figure it out. So we made it a little bit easier for them. So I made a short little video of just of the few events that we had over in Rogers Park this year. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you. That was a nice presentation. It gave us a nice rundown of what you've actually done.
Thank you.
Student representatives. I see you couldn't run away, so. You introduce yourself and go.
I'm Sophia Pompilio, the president of the Board of Governors, and this is Taylor Welton. She's part of the executive council at Danbury High School. So in the past few weeks, Danbury High School's production of In the Heights was a huge success. They ran a play Thursday through Saturday, and they sold out on Friday night. AP exams began on Monday, May 2nd, and will continue until this Friday, May 13th. Our National Honor Society held their induction on Monday, May 9th, for the upcoming seniors. Junior prom will take place this Friday at 7 p.m. in the Portuguese Center. Senior prom is on May 27th, also starting at 7 p.m. at the Amber Room. And our variety show will take place on May 20th at 7 p.m. in the Danbury High School auditorium. And there's much more coming up, which we'll talk about at the next meeting, but that includes like graduation and all the plans for that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Is there anybody here from ACE? ACE, seeing anybody? And let's see if not here. Are you giving a presentation tonight? Reimagining High School project.
Yes. Come on up.
Oh, I'm surprised.
I wanted the board to have a sense of what it is that we're doing. You know, we're going through a budget season. And I think you get tired into looking at the operational budget and looking at the deficits and things that we can't do because of limited resources. And I think, I've said this to the board a number of years ago, the most difficult thing for us to do as a district is to move ahead when we're really challenged with resources. But, you know, the resources intellectually is always present. It's just a matter of making sure that they start making connections. And there's something going on in Connecticut which is very special and it's national. We've been able to participate with them. We've been selected as one of, I think, 19 districts that are going to participate in this program. You heard this evening the discussion of project-based learning, the exploration work that they're doing, the garden work, the learning commons, all of that. These are just branches of the concept that is systemic in rethinking the high school. The most difficult level to change nationally has been the high school. The high school has been the high school, has been the high school, has been the high school. NEAS, which is the accreditation agency, and in the central part of the states, the North Central, have changed their assessment to come in and look at high schools through a different lens. And we've been preparing step by step for this vision. And I'm so pleased that we're going to participate in it. This is a short clip of reimagining what a high school could be. We're not there yet. We have little components. And we're really trying to focus our work next year with the other high schools and start moving Danbury ahead in these areas. You keep hearing about personalized learning, blended learning. These are all terms right now, but they actually do impact students and student lives and their academic preparation while not losing any rigor. I think that has been the key, the idea of, you know, where does rigor play a part?
not only rigor, I've been maintaining that, you heard us talk about those youngsters today. The big part of their life is service, and we don't want to lose that connection. So when we blend the rigor and the online learning and the personalization, all of this needs to be rethought thoughtfully so that we really have a well-rounded student. They focus on service, leadership, and academic preparation. So here's something I thought you might find interesting, and we'll talk a little bit about the program. This is not a big presentation. I wanted you to think about it only because I know we're going to be looking at the budget, and I know we're going to be mired down into moving resources around. But step above it and look about where we want to be in about 5 years or sooner.
Have the best BS detectors on the planet. So when we say we want them to love learning, to be curious and think critically, they don't quite buy it. We actually believe ourselves when we say it. Why wouldn't we want our young people to become innovative and ethical humans? But in our hearts, we know what they've been trying to tell us for a long time. American public high school has failed to keep up. But a long time ago, public high school was a place of radical innovation. Free and accessible schooling was seen as a vital part of democracy that would guarantee equal opportunity for all. Industrialization transformed high school into a place to prepare the future workforce for new jobs in factories and large-scale farms. To ensure that everyone received fair and uniform instruction, we adopted the Carnegie Unit, which quantified learning based on the amount of time a student spent sitting in a classroom. The curriculum shifted to focus on rules, repetition, and small contained problems rather than large ones. Subjects were broken into time-based chunks signaled by a shrill bell. To prepare the teenagers of the early 20th century for factory life, we put them in a pre-factory, and that's where we kept our teenagers ever since. In the last 100 years, as careers have moved from the industrial to the idea-driven, as global economies have risen and fallen, as women have strengthened the workforce, as the U.S. has welcomed nearly 250 million new people, as we've gone from a Model T to a Tesla and a switchboard to a smartphone, high school has stayed frozen in time. We want our students to think critically, but we make them memorize. We want intellectual curiosity, but we pad the schedule with easy courses. We want innovation, but we teach to a packet. We want self-reliance, but we force them to sit prisoner in the name of learning. Our refusal to act is costing us. America is falling behind in the world, and every year we're losing more ground. But here's the thing. We can fix this, but we have to scrap the blueprint, revolutionize this dangerously broken system, and if we do, if we can completely transform the model for public high school, we think we can change a whole lot more. If we change high school, we can change the future workforce for a complex, competitive world. We can change the poverty rate and the inequity of incarceration. We can change the broken connection between schools and communities. We can change the very building blocks of American society. If we profoundly change high school, we can reach not just the 50 million kids enrolled in public school, but the hundreds of millions who will follow them and the billions of people worldwide that they will impact. It's time to step up. It's time to rethink the model itself and truly innovate. Let's challenge the idea of bodies and seats and 500-page textbooks. Let's teach to the subject, not to the bell. Let's inspire a new kind of knowledge that's agile, creative, and endlessly relevant. Let's apply our astounding ingenuity to one of the largest public systems in the world. Let's truly reimagine what a public high school should be, partnering with the brightest talent in the country. Let's make a renewable system that works for today and tomorrow. Let's honor the beautiful promise the founders of public school made. Let's make a brave leap forward, 50 million kids need us to try. Let's build a super school.
Pretty impressive, huh? I mean, when you think about it, for us, how do we prepare students for a career? I think my passion is to try to figure out how we can have a school district that's going to solve problems we don't even know exist yet. That's what we're really trying to do. And how do you really do that? You know, you think critically and you have a different lens, and maybe you two might want to start a little bit about, talk about where we are and where we're going with it.
Sure. So the
So can you introduce yourself?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Megan Martins. I'm the Associate Principal of Instruction at high school. And we submitted an application to try and highlight to the selection committee ways in which that we have attempted to try and reimagine within our allotted resources, and talked a little bit about the Danbury Early College opportunity that we've gotten off the ground, as well as a Twilight School program, which is a flexible way for us to be able to help students to regain credit before they fall behind by the end of the school year. And so we were selected for that. Mr. Donovan and I have met with our group. We have 2 students who are working on the project with us. They're 2 sophomores, and we began the work with them by asking them to go and do a little bit of recon with our kids, and just ask 3 simple questions. What do you love about high school? What do you hate about high school? And if you were in charge, what's one thing that you would change? To try and get a sense from the kids who are in front of us, where would they like us to go? Because I think that the big push that we've had at the high school, Dr. Pasquarello mentioned personalized learning, the idea of being student-centered. And the video is just a really great job of illustrating how teacher-centered the institution of high school has been. One of the things that I personally find most challenging about this is that I went to school and I turned out okay. And you know, we've all gone to school. Everybody has a really solid idea of what it's supposed to look like. And when we start to talk about changing that up a little bit, start to think about, well, was it wrong for me? And I think what we've all come around, and the voices of the students that we've been working with has been really helpful in this regard, is that we're preparing kids for careers we don't even understand. And just, that is a tremendous charge. We're preparing kids for things that don't even exist. And so the focus for us has been on skills. So students have the skills to be able to be adaptive and nimble in whatever career it is that they choose. So I know we're really excited about this opportunity to collaborate with other high schools. We're going to present our recommendations that are unfettered by budget, so we can really imagine how things would go. And there will be legislators and other people of influence there to at least hear the voices of our kids in terms of what it is they'd like us to be doing a better job with, and then hopefully learn some other things from other high schools.
2 of the things that we discussed very quickly with our 2 partners in Southfield were, expanding school. As you saw in that video, school is run by a belt, run by a system, run by bricks and mortar, run by a calendar that's outdated. So we really talked to them about it's wide open. Do whatever you want with it. And they just lit up and said this is something they really wanted to be part of. As educators, it's very exciting for us because to have no budget and be able to do what we want, this is going to be pretty good. I look at it from a different point of view as I wasn't the Raul Malapans of the world with the perfect SAT score and valedictorian. That was not me. I was a little bit disengaged in high school. And to look at building a system that would re-engage students to be personalized in their learning is something that very, very much would drive me towards this, and something I'm looking forward to being part of.
The state of Connecticut has kind of been ahead of the curve. They've already have on the books, the legislators approved the abandonment if the district chooses a requirement unit. So they put a lot of structures there, and that's why I've been arguing against those graduation requirements. They're really not relevant. But it is what it is, because everybody knows how to run a high school. We don't run high school, relevant, right? But at least that they're willing to look at some changes. But I think for Danbury, and the things that we're doing with the Exploration Academy, the magnet schools, the online learning that we're doing, will all start filtering and coming together, marching in the order.
And this doesn't happen in high school. My point being here to everybody, it starts in kindergarten. If I would tell you and show you the demographic on the youngsters that are coming in, you will be horrified. The predictability of the number of students that are going to need aid is incredible. And yet, our teachers persevere every day. They differentiate the instruction and they try. But there is a plan and we have to get there. So I need your support to get there. This doesn't happen with the three of us. It happens with all of us. But this is where we can be. We have some of the makings of it. We have folks that have the intellect and the ability to do it. And we have the student body that can compete with anyone. You heard Raul today who's a product of our school system. There are many kids not at that level, but there are many youngsters up there that haven't been challenged, that you, because you broke down the barriers for AP and honors courses, are beginning to become much more challenged themselves. This is growing. So the tipping point is here. So this is what we're about. As we go through the budget, just keep this in mind. That's why I thought we were going to talk about this next year, but I thought this is a good stepping stone for us to at least look at before we go into the budget. I don't know if we can answer questions. You can ask them. I can't. Go ahead.
There, you're on.
Go ahead.
It's not a question, it's a comment. It's adding to what you're doing in youth here. I think Danbury, and we saw it tonight, we've seen it other nights, has the gift to draw talent to make this a success. You've got a student body that's going to give you an opinion. I think you'll be very impressed with that. The presentation tonight was just a smattering of the talent that we have in the district. We get presentations every week, and it's incredible. To back up what Dr. Saddle said, many of the students come here with challenges and are difficult, but in spite of that, they excel as a group. As a testament to that, Friday night, I was fortunate to see the play in the Heights. It's the first time Mike Burnett put the play on as the one in charge. He followed in Cindy's footsteps. It was a magnificent play, and most of the students in the cast was the first time that they had been on stage. So you talk about raw talent, and you talk about having the ability to express yourself and not be frightened. It's incredible. So I really believe with all of this talent we have and the energy we have, this will be a success. Yes, resources, financial resources are always a problem, but in spite of that, if you've got the backing behind it, the enthusiasm behind it, it will still be successful. It may take a little too longer to get there, but I truly believe it will be successful. And Danbury is an incredibly talented district with their students.
Also,
It wasn't a question, it was more than a direct comment.
also with their staff. I mean, so many of you are so innovative and do with nothing amazing things. Or not with nothing, you know what I'm saying, with less than. And you have to know, I'm sure you know, you see it in the children. They appreciate it, they learn, they grow. And we as adults sit here and watch it, and it's mind-boggling. And so keep going, that's all I have to say. Thank you so very much for what you do.
More to come. Thank you.
And you guys can't make fun of everybody else. You got started. Oh no, you don't, Jan.
My first floor.
I'm gonna break a minute.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Action items.
That the Board of Education approve the DHS trip to Ireland and Scotland, April 7th, 15th, 2017.
Seconded by Pat. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One, Kevin Monero. And one abstention. Oh, I'm sorry, that's I didn't. Mine left body. All right. So it passes with those two exceptions. Okay. B.
That the Board of Education approve the Danbury High School trip to Costa Rica, April 6th to the 14th, 2017.
Seconded by Michael Ferguson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions?
Here.
Any no? Oh, Mr. Janelli abstained again. At Mrs. Molinaro. Are you objecting? Yes, okay. Mrs. Conlon, you are objecting. Motion, however, passes. Thank you. Superintendent's report.
On May 26th at 7 o'clock at Danbury High School Media Center, the High School Governance Council invited me to their meeting to dialogue with them and strategize how they can better support the board in your efforts in procuring more resources. They've been very active with Gary and now actually doing fundraising and other things. They really would like to focus their energy and say, how can we really help? We are inviting the new lobbyists with us. They will be attending. I invited the PTO co-presidents to come because they're part of that, so we can start thinking about next year and what we could do. Next year is going to be an incredibly vital year for us to have our voices there. And for the first time, it's made a difference, I think, from what I can see that's going on, at least to this point, that our voices in Denver have been heard. And Lexi has helped in her way with students. We need to engage that group, and there's students on the council. So if you'd like to come and listen, it's really been a very supportive group, and a group that's been, I know from Gary's point of view, tremendously a resource to him. So we will meet with them on May 26th at 7 o'clock.
Is it possible that we record it so that those of us that couldn't possibly...
Is it possible that it could be recorded?
What's the date?
May 26th at 7 p.m.
I will check and get back with you.
Thank you.
Make sure, okay.
Some of us aren't able to come.
Thank you. Going to the next favorite subject, legislative update. You all know about chaos theory? You want to teach you all about chaos theory? It's getting the same information we're getting. All of the budgets and all of the line items, even though they're talking about aggregate numbers and reductions, they've not talked about line item reductions, so we don't know how it's going to impact. I'm as anxious as you to go through, our budget, but we agreed today, and I think the board should listen to this, is that until the implemented bill is done, and you actually know what it is you're getting, and the city actually knows what they're getting, we probably then, that's the best lens that we have. Then we can go about the business of figuring out how we can review resources, the reductions. The city is open-minded to helping where they can, even though, they have a $2.2 million allocation, but there are areas, slices that Joe and his team and Kelly have been able to bring some resources to the table that we want to look at, that we've got a favorable motion from the city. But again, they don't know where they are, because as recent as last week, they lost $600,000 in transportation. They didn't know it was going to happen. They lost their pilot money, but then they got some money on the other side. We went in the budget and we found out that it's allocated somewhere else, so it's totally confusing. The changes up there are right now about the money. I'm a little worried about the stuff that's going to happen behind the scenes. For example, I thought the graduation requirements were on hold and were in frozen country, but they are not. The governor would not agree to it. The legislators would not pick up on it. So it stands as is. So therefore, 2021, next year's 8th grade class, they're going to be entering in 9th grade. They will be under a 25 requirement for credits. That, based on what I just told you, we're going to have to plan Carnegie units to make that, to do those things. So, and that's our argument to the state. We're going in a direction. Connecticut is looked at as a leader, and here you're putting these constraints on us, but it doesn't matter. Because, you know why? I think I told you. Because some legislators looked at some data that said that Connecticut was in the middle of the pack for graduation requirements. How about that? They didn't think about how many had over 25, how many had over 30, how many kids we have. That didn't make sense, and we can't bring that to any sensibility. So we're going to start planning, as someone on the council said, how are you planning for the future, guys? What are you doing when you open the high school, guys? What are you going to do when you have these graduation requirements? When I asked Gary and Dan and Megan, what happens if our class needs 25 credits? Here's what they said. Well, let's take a look at it. We've got 630 kids, 230 of them have less than 25. They start putting FTEs in, between 12 and 18 FTEs. I know that's going to cost you $2-3 million. You tell me how we're gonna start doing that. Because right now, we're in a different mode. I don't know how to plan for that. We'll have space, but I don't know what we're gonna put in front. So up there, that's what's going on. But, you know, the light through the tunnel is that we have a legislative group that represents Danbury, and Joe is in contact with them every day. Mark is, I am. They're really looking out for Danbury and ways that maybe we can get around some of this stuff. So I think if we look too far range, we all get depressed. So I think we wait for the implementer bill, we sit down and we do what's reasonable. I'm not about to prove anything to anyone. I'm not about to say I need to eliminate programs but we are going to have to mindfully look at what does it mean to have that kind of reduction and how can we least impact our kids so we can reimagine education for them in this town and not be pulled down by the naysayers that teachers are paid too much, they don't work hard enough, you have too many administrators, too many secretaries. Well, that is nonsense. You know what they do. A lot of you are married to them, we have relatives that are educators, they work hard. And they have 27, 28, 29 in their classes. They have 28, 29 in classes. So, and if you don't think the city does, when we talk to Mark, he gets it. I think our legislative group gets it, you get it, and our parents get it. We just gotta work together. So, right now, we thought that by tomorrow afternoon, they might have the implemented bill, but right now.
They still want budgets, they're still trying to get the votes together to get the Democrats to vote on a budget, so that's the first. So the implementer bill as well, will have language related to education, we think, in there. But at least they're getting the budget nailed down. As Dr. South said, the cities, there's $850 we think in ECS coming to us, but Mark's losing about $600,000 in transportation money. There's a cut in the magnet school grant for about at least $125,000. The priority grant, there's a cut there for about $150,000 we think. So net, it's really it's actually a loss if you look at, depending on how Mark addresses the transportation money. Because that grant doesn't come directly to the board, it comes in our overall allocation. So in a sense, he just lost money in our chunks. So he's not really sure how we're going to deal with that at this point on his side.
So rather than cut it, not cut it, we have to see what happens.
Yeah.
But the appropriation they gave us, what was voted on, you were saying that.
There are 5 budgets in Hartford.
No, the city budget.
The city budget currently is $2.2 million.
$2.2 million.
Is there a chance of that changing because of what's going on in Hartford?
That was voted and approved.
I don't.
I would, we have $2.2 million, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I can tell you at this point.
So what is up in the air for us is the possibility of the 850, it's on today, it's off today.
The 850.
And plus the other grant money.
Yeah, and excess cost is in play here, because as Dr. South said, we did do a lot of work to increase that revenue, but in a sense, with the city side losing transportation money, we're not sure how that's going to sift out, because there's about another $350,000 in that grant, which is a question of how the city and how it's deal with the other funds.
I really don't have a lot of things going on, but that's where we can focus.
One other question, sorry. So relative to the conversation where Charlie and I had regarding the finance committee, are we all in agreement that we wait until we find out where the dust settles?
Yeah, because if you asked me how much, I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't see the 850, like, this could be not good.
What if it gets postponed like that? I mean, I've heard talk that there's people in Hartford talking about pushing this back through the election.
They need to get out of there for the election, that's what we've heard. So they want to close this up as fast as they can. So I don't think it's going to go too much longer up there. I will say to Dr. Zell's point, we've heard a lot more at Harvard, the lobbyists, some of our representatives. I mean, we know a ton more what's going on there, at least through the process, I'll say. Doesn't make us any feeling more confident about the whole thing. We clearly know a lot more what's going on than we have in the years prior, no question.
So that takes care of the next item.
I was going to say, do you have any more good news for us, Joe?
We have a cut in health insurance for about $400,000, but again, some of the other numbers, it's not as large as we'd like to see it.
I will say to you, in case you're asked, as a board member, we have a strategy for the additional modular building over at Shelter. Our plan is to, Joe will put together some specs. We are looking at outright purchase for a lot of reasons. look for 2 modules, and we're working with the city to do that. So we'll let the specs out, but can we buy them? And can we, in the face and say, yes, we can? But honestly, we're going to put the specs out, and we're going to solicit bids. We have an idea of what it's going to cost, and we're going to do everything we can to cobble together money to do this, because we're over Shelter Rock today, they are strapped. That's where you put on some schools, but they are strapped. Those sectors are growing. Today, we walked in King Street.
King Street one.
What happened to King Street while you were there?
Oh, it was called Parents Visiting from Kennedy Center, which is
Place that was not gonna have
the
kids.
new downtown complex.
That's what I was just gonna ask, are we, in these plans, you know, we don't have, when are we expected to have a ballpark idea of what we're gonna get for new population? Do we have estimates coming on that?
We have hired a demographer, McLaughlin McBrone, to do a much deeper study into enrollments and housing starts and growth. They're online. We did sign a contract with them. We'll have a presentation to the board probably in September or October, do a workshop with that. They'll do a full enrollment study and everything else. Probably a good meeting, invite some council members too. I think they did a big study in Bethel, which is really insightful on where the growth is, where the pockets are coming from in the city, housing starts. I think that's going to be really good information this again.
Meanwhile, he's calling the sales department there and asking.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to Kennedy Center and find
See
out.
how many kids are going, because that whole area is scheduled for King Street.
You know, if we come up with 300 kids, 4 modulars is.
Well,
Oh, that's not gonna happen.
the modulars, just so the board understands, we had a $1.7 million small constructions, the small improvement grant that we applied with the city. There was some capital money inside the city right now that we're trying to free up between the two. So I think hopefully some of the money can come from there to do that. At least that's how we're gonna have to play it for now, so we can address it more. Because going through state funding for state modulars are, just so the board knows, are state reimbursable. The problem is, to go through the state process, you have full architectural drawings. The drawings alone are $60,000. To buy the modulars on the market are $215,000. So in a sense, you'll get state reimbursement, but it's costing you another $60,000. So, and the problem is with that is it's going to delay the process. The state paid for
$60,000 to buy a drawing of a pre-built modular?
The state has to have design, architectural drawings, specs, site maps, all that stuff done in order to prove through their process. The issue is to bid it, it delays you at least a month and a half at least. Right now I don't think the state money, although it's there, the additional cost just to get the architects on board is spoken to them today.
So our intent is to march towards purchase. So if you're asked, that's.
Yeah, we have
at least 2 of them, so we can put them there for what I'm saying.
At the start of school.
That's our hope.
Yeah.
We're buying lottery
Do we have any
tickets.
more good news?
Good news.
Good news, thank you.
Do we have any good news there, Rob? Oh,
You have good news.
There's a new gym floor at King Street Park. It got installed over break.
So worried about that.
Don't you have good news?
Do you want to
Yes.
announce the good news?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, I think you
You
should.
wrote the story, why don't you announce the good news? Come on up here and announce it.
She's already sent it to us.
Oh, that's it?
That's what I'm doing over here. I have nothing to
See
do.
how you asked?
I have nothing to do with it though.
Well, let them know.
Okay,
You gotta come up here though.
I do. Can I cheat?
But quickly.
Can I cheat? Oh my God, I was lost.
Roll.
Be a millennium, use your phone.
Check your comments on our phone already, guys.
It's on somebody's phone.
Thanks, Robin, for coming out to read what you wrote on the phone.
Well, I just want to make sure I get where it came from. Right. Okay, this is in conjunction with Say Something. I start with hello. Danbury High School won an award. Okay, I can't find it. Can you help me out?
Denver High School won where they were selected by.
You have?
Yeah,
Oh,
there you
okay.
go.
That's not it.
On behalf of the State Student Advisory Council of
Yes.
Education, is that what I'm reading?
Yes.
Yes.
And the Commissioner of Education, I am delighted to inform you that your school's project, Say Something, has been selected as a 2016 Challenge of Educational Citizenship Award, statewide winner. A school plaque thank goodness. Acknowledging this accomplishment will be presented by the Commissioner of Education at a reception to be held in Connecticut Association of Association of Schools, 34 in Cheshire, on June 2nd.
Something on fire?
Yes.
You or school representatives selected by you are invited to attend the reception to receive your award and provide a brief explanation of your program. So congratulations and thanks for the heads up. Thank you.
I didn't hear any alarms.
It's
not very smoky out there, the whole road.
Road is full of smoke.
It
smells like a car.
Everything's on.
Yeah,
It
it does.
smells like rubber's on fire.
Close the door. Okay.
Did anyone have any comment on that?
No.
That's through Hillary and her leadership class. They projected it across 169 towns. They did a lot of in-service PD for all of the school districts throughout the state. That's a tremendous accomplishment.
We get a plaque and $1 million?
I'm sorry, did I hear you?
We get another stamp saying
Got a
you
hearty
guys are
handshake
doing
on
good work.
unfunded mandate.
That's a
There you go.
You guys are doing good work. Our kids are doing
No, they
good
really,
work.
really are. I mean, that's,
Do you want good news? I
okay, that was good news, thank you. I didn't have to wait to read it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, where am I? It's me. Okay. All right, let's talk about this for a minute. Oh, first of all, personally, I need to tell everybody this will be my last meeting. I'm going into the hospital on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, and so I'll be out for probably about a month, out of commission, all right? So just everybody say a prayer that everything goes well. I've never had an operation other than a tonsillectomy, so we need to worry about that for me. All right, and it's, what's making me the most sad is, or the saddest part of this whole thing is all of the graduations. And it's my favorite part of the year is to see those faces, because it doesn't matter whether it's the valedictorian, or the people that you saw here tonight, or the person that just made it, okay? Everybody that walks across that stage at Denver High School has exactly the same expression on their face. They're filled with anxiety and pride. It's the most amazing expression I've ever seen, and fear, because you see the fear too, because there's a change being made. So I'm going to miss that, but I need you all, everybody to go, because the classes aren't getting any smaller, they're getting larger. And there's also 3 middle schools. There's also an event where, I don't have the date, but I'll make sure you all get a copy of it. It was talked about tonight briefly by the people from Rogers Park of the 2 of the middle schools, our Rogers Park and our Fairview.
May 19th at 5 o'clock.
It's, what is it?
May 19th at 5 o'clock.
May 19th at 5 o'clock.
And the following Tuesday at 6 o'clock.
Okay, so it's each one. So I'll break those up.
The one's at Rogers Park and one's at Broadview.
Right. And does anybody know why there isn't one for West Side?
No.
Okay.
Well, they did National History Day at West Side. They did that.
I'm sorry, Robin.
They did a National History Day project at West Side earlier in the year.
Oh, they did?
A couple months ago.
All right, okay. So we need to look into that. Thank you.
Well, sometimes they do different things.
And they're looking for, the reason they're looking for, okay,
What are
is,
you guys talking about?
that's what I'm saying. It's
Throwing dates out there, I don't even know what happened.
okay, the 19th and the 17th, one's at each, I'll send you the blurb that was sent to me. And they're looking for someone to judge, they wanted me to come judge. They're looking for judges on this, and they're also looking for us to attend.
But what is
It's, what is it? Somebody explain to me what it is.
Convention.
It's not
It's not
the
the convention. They're doing, the social science have done projects. We'll get something out to the whole board. So, one of the teachers sent an email, Diane, and then these are now going to all of you. They invited folks to be there. So we'll make sure.
All right, so you'll get that, and because
Get that out.
you need representation there. We also, it's the end of the year, this is when we are the busiest time, that we're not at home, that we're out at these functions, showing our faces and who we are. Also, let's go to the Memorial Day Parade. Who's going to march in the parade? Don't everybody? What?
I'm trying to get the wagon, or stay off the wagon. You know how they go.
What is the wagon?
Yeah, that's what we all need to do. Yeah, if we can get the wagon, the kids have it decorated last year. We'll make sure it says Board of Ed on it this time, right? So they can read
Would
it.
be nice.
Wouldn't be nice.
It's not the special.
But we don't have
it's
the
not
wagon yet.
minibus like you
We
did
don't have the wagon
before.
yet. I've called the gentleman now twice. I'm waiting for him to return my call. He's been out of town, so I'm hoping. If not, then, you know, we gotta take the Jaguar, and I know you guys don't wanna go on the bus, so we gotta figure.
No buses.
No buses, so we
For
gotta
the
figure
people
out.
that don't understand.
But how many are going,
Sal had
so
a
I
wonderful
know?
idea a few years ago that Board of Ed would drive in a small bus and a minibus, okay?
So one,
Street.
one,
Well, I hear what you're saying.
I'm saying, how many
I'm
are gonna
confused. I
go?
don't even know what's going on. I'm
The
confused.
Memorial Day
This is the Memorial Day
Okay,
parade.
I'll be there.
Who's marching?
Somebody's
So
marching.
there's 2, 3, maybe 4.
Yeah, I'm-
Well, we're gonna get a ride, one way or the other. So it'll be a car, or it'll be a van. What else?
I don't know, CRC's not burning until I hear about.
It's not, it looks like it's distant.
So we got 5, all right, here. I'm working on the, you got an ice cream truck? We can do ice cream.
I do, I know, I can see it.
What? It's a, the Memorial Day parade is what day? It's Monday.
May 30th.
May 30th. That is the parade, actual parade day?
Yeah, it's, yeah.
It says here, May 30th, Memorial Day, no, it just says schools closed.
And that's a school
I was
closed.
thinking about the parade.
I'll put it in, you'll have it in, I'll have it.
Okay.
Okay,
We're still working on the ride.
okay. Okay. All of the dates for the graduations for ACE and middle school are all here on your agendas. So please write them down and let somebody know that you're coming. What else? And I just opened the one for the adult ed graduation, is here somewhere, I just read it. And this is, if you haven't gone to it, this is going to find out what we really do really well, okay? The things like this adult ed and.
7 p.m. at Weston on June 14th.
June 14th, okay?
Just, yeah.
So, we're at the Visual and Performing, at the new Visual and Performing Arts Center in Weston, okay? Alrighty, I have that, I told you about that, and is there anything else? Oh, what is the 2016-17 board meeting schedule?
Just the dates.
Alright, you don't know? Alright, so there's another conversation that we should have, that I need to have. I asked Sal, we need to do a board self-evaluation. It's done annually. We're at the end of the school year. But do you remember, what did we have the last one we did? Who did it?
John,
Lighthouse, wasn't Lighthouse?
that was the Lights Out,
That
right,
was the
project, that
Lighthouse
was
project.
Kay.
Did we do something like 2 years ago?
Yeah,
We did something 2 years ago, and then some training with a gentleman from Westchester.
right.
And then prior to that, you had gone through the Lighthouse training. This is Mr. Carroll, who had done some Leadership Institute out of Hartford. He worked in the district about 8 or 9 years ago with the board twice, setting self-evaluation. I think Gladys probably worked.
No, it was fantastic.
And Kathy worked.
And it's dynamic, it's different than Lighthouse where they just sit and lecture you about what you need to do. This is participation, and it helps us improve ourselves. It's not just about the Board of Education, it's about all of the leadership skills. So it's a very dynamic group. Mr. Carroll was very, very dynamic in his presentations, and it was interesting. I prefer not to do it on a Saturday, so I'd like to do it like on a first Monday. Sal wanted to do it at the end of June, which would preclude me. I'm not probably would be here, but I don't know if I will be. So I'd like you all to decide whether you want to do it the last Wednesday in June, or if you would like to do it the first in the beginning of the school year, in September.
He's available either way.
The end of August, the beginning of September. Can I have some feedback? That's it with you.
I'd like it in September, please.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have an opinion besides
I
that?
would like to either at the end of September or the beginning of October, because somewhere in our policy book, it states that the board self-evaluation should be done before the new turnover of the elected officials. So, October,
Well, there's no
September,
turnover
October,
this year.
Well, we don't have a
Okay.
turnover, but we
Right.
can use that as a measurement.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I would, September, I would agree.
September.
You think also, so, well, that's, yeah, I'm in September also. Richard?
What he did say, what he wanted to do, was that he was going to have a, kind of a survey monkey to just send it out to you for information and data, and then he'll focus his time with you around that collected data. And he does have time in the fall as well.
He does?
Yeah, I'll just,
I'm sorry,
we'll come
I
up with
just-
the date. I'm sorry? I told him we could go either way, and he was fine to work with us, and just let him know when.
All right, okay, so if you'll just take care of that, we
We're doing
appreciate
it
it.
off Wednesday. if you want.
Does anybody have any other else they'd like to talk about?
Just one thing that came out of the policy committee meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
The committee would like to ask the board for a consensus on whether or not they would like to opt out of voting on out of,
We don't use opt-out.
opt out, I'm not thinking opt out of our responsibility of giving permission to the students to go abroad and only give it to the superintendent. So I would just like you to tell me to go back to the policy committee and redo that policy and bring it back to the full board. That's all. I just need a consensus on whether that's what the full board would like to see done.
All right, do you want us to run a consensus on that? Okay.
Kathy, just to mention that, I thought, the background I thought was that there was, I don't want to say an abuse, but a lot of school days lost a
Yes.
while ago.
It was abusive.
And it
as
was
to
a
the
way for the
time
board
taken.
to at least say, you know, come before us, present it, get some kind of control over it. And we talked at the policy committee that if the board would prefer doing it that way, we would make sure included in the application would be those regulations guiding them in the direction that you wanted them. Non-school days and all of that, reasonable, all of that, the money, raising money and so forth. That would be included in the permission slip
In the regs.
and in the regs.
Okay, because I thought we took care of that with the school, missing school days.
We never took care of that, I mean, we never
Well,
did
they
anything
changed, but
formally.
they're
We
very,
just-
but they're very
We just
respectful of
insisted,
it.
yes.
I did, for the last 4 or 5 years, I don't think anybody has planned anything with taking them out of school. Maybe with day and travel or something like that. It's very, very different from when it was.
Could we get a loudspeaker over on this side? Because we can't hear nothing.
I'm speaking, and I'm actually using the microphone.
I am sorry, but I can't hear. Bob can't hear. You know, maybe their ears are younger than mine, but I can't hear nothing you're saying.
Okay, so I'll talk this way.
Okay, well,
How's this?
Just move the mic a
Yeah.
tad closer.
Yes.
Okay, how's that? How about we just shut it down? How's that? Okay, here we go.
So would you like it to go back to committee and have it brought forth
Okay,
as
Yes,
a regular
yes.
policy change?
Yes.
That's all
That's
I'm
the way I want to
asking.
move.
I'm doing, okay. I know you can't talk, and I can't run the meeting. Yes, Gladys, would you like it to go back to policy?
Go around first. I can.
Okay. Pat,
Yes.
go back to committee. Richard?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, yes, it's back in committee again.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay. When you'd like to call that meeting, would you like to do that now?
Sure.
Wait till my,
What? I didn't hear what you said, I'm sorry.
oh, you can't hear me?
Well, there wasn't quite enough contempt in the speech, you could put that.
Oh, dear, bless it. Oh, that's what I did.
Okay, call to order.
Okay.
May 25th is our next board meeting, we can have it before. You want to do that?
Sounds good.
Yes?
I will work up a mock policy,
Okay.
right, and include the regs and give you
And
something
I'll
to
tell
look at.
Debbie that will be before the next board meeting.
Okay.
We'll do it at 6.
Okay, you got it.
It shouldn't take us long.
May 25, 6 o'clock?
Yep. Thank you.
Is there anybody else, other committee that would like to report? Oh, Michael, good.
Just real quick, next Thursday, the 19th, is the SABC Annual Scholarship Breakfast at the Amber Room, 7:45. So I told Mary Gregory that I would see if any of you were going, and I would report to her who was, so that there's enough seating. So,
I'm gonna
okay. If you don't know today, you can let me know,
How much
but
is the tickets?
it's free.
They're free. What's the date, the 19th?
What's the date, Michael?
The 19th, Thursday the 19th.
Before she yells at me because you're in the
It's a week from tomorrow.
Could I briefly report, Madam Chair?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, yes.
The superintendent evaluation committee met this afternoon. I have been on the board a long time, and I think we had a great meeting. And I'd just like to commend all my co-workers working with me, and I know sometimes you get a little agitated with me, but that's okay. We had a great meeting, okay? And I want to thank you all. Put on your calendars, our next meeting is going to be a very short meeting on May 23rd at 6 o'clock here.
Did everybody get that? Okay. Now, nobody has any reports from anything else? Be positive. Ms. Kim, you have any executive session?
We're having a reception for, the school is having a reception for Mr. Rob next Wednesday on June 18th at the Elm Room. The tickets are $60. Someone asked me or emailed me, and I wanted to know where the board be represented.
Is it May 18th?
May 18th, next Wednesday.
I will be, I talked to Mr. Hobbs, I will be out those 2 days. I'm in a conference that I'm working at in Robert. I can't back out, so I told him I wouldn't be there. It's part of the superintendent's.
What time is it?
It's at 5:30, it starts at, I think it's 5:30, almost sure it's 5:30.
The Emperor?
At the Amber. I will be there.
Who do we pay for the tickets? Better we go there?
Tomorrow is the last day for tickets. I took my check over at the school.
Okay, I'll do that. Dr. Sal, quick question. Mr. Bacaccio is retiring this year.
There is a, Kelly, tell me, when is it?
May 23rd, Monday night.
May 23rd, Monday night.
Yeah,
Anybody's interested in attending that one?
What is it?
Gary's.
Where is it?
Let me just get the time.
Yeah.
It's at Ethan Allen on Monday, May 23rd, and it's
4 o'clock, 5 o'clock?
I feel like it's 5, let me double check. 4 o'clock, sorry, 4 o'clock, 4 to 6.
And how do you?
Okay, if you're interested in, if you're interested in going to Gary's, just drop a note to me. It's $50 a person. Just let me know and I will pass it along. Same thing with Mr. Robs. If you want that, let me know and then we can let them know that you're going to attend. And you could probably pay at the door, I don't know why not. We do for the other places. Okay, that'd be the easiest for you.
All right, anybody else have anything? Such a carny crowd.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, just adjourn, period, end of sentence. Motion's made by Ralph, seconded by Pat. All in favor?